What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back with a brand new episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last time we were on, we had gone through a lot more fragments. We saw the aftermath of the first incident, with Oshi declaring war on whoever is behind it, which would be the Mountain Dogs. But he thinks it's the Sonozaki family. We delved a little bit deeper into Irai's guilt over the things he is doing here. But we see that Rika tells Irai that he's still a good person. He's still trying to find out the truth. And so because of the reassurance from Rika, Irai decides to stop the whole Sadako dissection plan. So yeah, I'm pretty sure in this episode we're going to be finishing up these connecting fragments segment. So let's get right into it. Okay. Detailed test result. Motive to become a doctor. Okay, we can do this one. H170. C103's implementation on Sadako is going well so far. It wouldn't make any difference to me if the experiment failed. However, Irai's extraordinary focus and attention to the experiment has avoided Sadako Hojo's hallucinating or turning into a vegetable during the experiment. And surprisingly, we see prospects of her returning to normal life despite reaching L5. C103 still has many issues, but this experiment proved that even a person who has reached L5 can be cured. I didn't believe in it at first, but I guess I have to acknowledge Irai's hard work. Only Irai could have done this. He was tormented by naive humanism and didn't want to make mistakes, and that is why he felt obligated to cure Sadako Hojo. The reason why I dislike Irai isn't because of his achievements or abilities, but because of that weakness. But this time I had to place him for it.
入江所長のレポートを拝見しましたわ。脱帽と言わざるを得ません。
いえ、私の研究者としての職務を果たしたに過ぎません。その結果、医者としての職務も果たせたなら、私にとってはそれに勝ることはありません。
今やさとこちゃんは私たちにとって最も重要な検体になったと言っても過言ではないでしょう。何しろレベル5に至りながら生還した初めての人間なのですから。
その通りです。
I should probably mark down that C105 test results, because that was one of them. Where is it? Or did I just make that up? No? I got it. Okay.
彼女を社会生活に復帰させ、経過を見ながら長期観察に切り替えていきます。彼女には毎週日曜日にこちらに来てもらって検査を受けてもらえるよう話をするつもりです。
しかし C103 を日に3回も注射する義務と毎週日曜日に検査に訪れる義務を彼女にどう説明されるおつもりで？彼女には何の病気の自覚もないのに。
そこは今うまく納得してもらえる話を考えています。今考えているのは私の研究論文に協力してもらうというものです。栄養剤の注射を毎日してもらい、毎週日曜日にその効果を検査する。その代わりに研究協力費としていくらかを支払うという感じです。
I guess Irai is determined to cure Sadako Hojo no matter what. He seems determined to keep her off the dissection table. He and I are in different positions, but I don't have any complaints about his naive ideals, so long as they translate directly into passion for our research. If his plans can be put into effect and produce a different result than the dissection would, then they'll still be useful to the overall understanding of the Himizawan syndrome. I have nothing against Sadako Hojo. It's only that I see her as a research specimen. If she can be useful in that capacity without being dissected, that's perfectly fine with me.
日に3回もの注射となれば、これは本人だけでなく、保護者の方の同意も不可欠です。確か ご両親が亡くなってからは叔父夫婦に親権が移っていましたね。そちらに一度相談に伺おうと思います。メイへの怪しげな研究協力を承諾してもらえればいいのですが。
大丈夫ですわよ。そのための研究協力費ですもの。月に10万か20万も振り込んでやれば大喜びしますわ。
Damn.
それだけの予算はありますか？
もちろん。二郎さんを納得させる資料を作りさえすれば。
わかりました。それは私が作ります。あと、聡子ちゃんに振動をかけないよう指導しておく必要もあります。レベル5をぶり返すことになったら大変ですからね。噂では叔父夫婦はとても現金な方だとか。金銭で丸め込むのは可能かもしれません。それらの指導も私の方できっちり行うつもりです。
I've heard Sadako-chan isn't getting along with her aunt and uncle. I never thought that'd affect us in any way. But now Iri has to deal with them. Maybe he's developed some kind of sense of responsibility or duty as her guardian. I don't really care. The more responsible he feels, the more progress our research makes. That'll be a plus for me.
それはそうと H17 番台についてのレポートを拝見しました。
ええ。入江所長の成果に比べれば足元にも及びませんが、一応の研究成果を出せましたわ。
本当に皮肉ですね。彼女を錯乱から救う治療薬を作っていた研究所で、その傍らでは彼女を直ちに錯乱させる危険な薬が作られていたのですから。
And I guess I can put down the results of H107. Iri wasn't involved in the H170 research. That was my work. In fact, even if I asked him, he wouldn't have agreed to be involved. This dangerous reagent was developed during the process of uncovering the mechanisms behind the pathogens controlling Sadako Hoichi's brain could induce derangement or paranoia in their host. To put it bluntly, injecting H170 into a patient with Himizawa syndrome forced them to express terminal symptoms. It threw the brain into a stimulated state of aggression, agitation, intentionally forcing the pathogen to grow unstable. If we continue researching this, it will be possible to drive anyone with Himizawa syndrome violently insane at any time. Studying the mechanism behind that will help to solve the syndrome's mysteries. So this study on H170 will be extremely important for future research. Also, this medicine has military applications as the client requested. At this point, there's absolutely no use for it. But once our research progresses a bit further, this H170 could be spread at the right moment to cause a certain type of reaction. Compared to a killer virus, it seems like a useless pathogen. But there's no way to detect it in a dead body, and it makes it look as though the person just went insane spontaneously, so it must have some useful applications. The Marco Polo Bridge incident threatened to end research on Himizawa syndrome before. A historically important incident like that couldn't have been created by a killer virus. But it's possible with Himizawa syndrome. The elders of the Alphabet Project, the sponsor for our research, can think whatever they want about that. I don't care how they use what I've learned. My purpose is to solve the mysteries of Himizawa syndrome and to make people realize how important this research is. Also, to make people acknowledge my grandfather's accomplishments and achievements. Any military applications were just byproducts of the process that I didn't care about.
クライアントにとっては高野さんの成果の方が喜ばれるでしょう。来期の予算取りが楽になるかもしれませんね。
情熱だけでは研究は続けられませんものね。
Could you imagine that? A biological weapon that can't be detected. Jeez.
先立つものがなければ
Honestly, that probably exists right now, or is being developed right about now. I wouldn't be surprised.
これだけの潤沢な資金を提供してくださるスポンサーさんには頭が上がりません。これだけのお金が公費から出ているのですから。
日本という国は私たちが想像しているよりずっと豊かなのかもしれませんね。公費は公費でも表に出せない黒い公費でしょうけれどね。
Yuri has no idea what I had to go through to get that money. Anyway, our research is going extremely well. We don't know what we'll find out about Himizawa syndrome, but I'm sure every mystery will eventually be solved. I can hardly wait. What the syndrome indicates is that humans are simply empty containers, and what we believe to be our will is simply the actions of parasites that live in our brains. If that mystery was solved, it would have a greater impact than anything else in history. That is a truth which nobody wants to believe. This is an achievement my grandfather predicted back during his time. I know now. I know the reason why my grandfather was so fascinated by his work. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Government wants to use it as biological weapon. Yep. Okay, dissection. Okay, we already did that. Opportunist. Rika's mother's suspicion is required. I think we could do that one, probably. But save real quick. Let's see. Bird sacrifice. Nope. Okay. Good thing I saved. So we don't have Rika's mother suspicion. Gotcha. So let me take that off the list real quick. Oh, didn't even have it marked off on the list anyway. Alright. The true sense of oh, here we go. We can do this one. An accident at the Shirakawa Park. Sadako-chan's dissection plan has been scrubbed, and we're getting ready to administer an almost totally untested medicine, C103. This experimental medicine suppresses the product of a certain type of hormone, and doing so, it will stop the transmission of the syndrome triggering Sadako-chan's condition. The mechanism of Himizawa syndrome is as follows. The pathogen takes over the frontal lobe of the patient's brain and then induces increased responsiveness to paranoia. As a result, a patient voluntarily carries out excessively defensive behaviors to a problematic extent. If this induction can be cut off, then it will be possible to save terminal patients from becoming deranged. But it only cuts off an induction, so it's not really a cure. Ironically, the brain is an organ that learns. Once the brain has learned to be excessively paranoid due to the Himizawa syndrome, even after the pathogen is eliminated, the brain doesn't simply unlearn that paranoia. In short, even if the pathogen doesn't induce derangement, the patient will be directed to such emotions of their own volition. Thus, it is impossible to completely escape the nearly deranged L5 state. The proverb, a burnt child dreads the fire, is a good example of this. Even after the burn on your tongue heals, the fear of being burned by food again remains. When it ends up being a good thing, we call it learning a lesson, and we call it trauma when it doesn't. We predict Sadako-chan's treatment will take a significantly long time, requiring both medications such as administering psychotropics and mental care, like counseling. We have to slowly unravel her mind's solidified paranoia while also suppressing the syndrome's induction of derangement. This is the treatment plan for terminal patients like Sadako-chan. However, as we are going to stimulate the parts of her brain that affect her emotions while they are being stimulated by the pathogen at the same time. It's possible there could be an unexpected side effects. Both her mental and physical strength hold the key to our success. We were going to begin the experiment once she regains her emotional stability and physical strength, but someone who threatens to disturb her emotional stability has been coming here every day. Oshi, the sly old detective from the Okayama Police Department. He thinks everything, from the dam protest to the dismemberment murder of the construction manager, is an organized effort secretly conducted by the three families of the village. He even thinks the accident involving Sadako-chan's parents wasn't an accident. That's why he keeps coming back, so he can talk to Sadako-chan.
何度来られても聡子ちゃんへの面会を許可することはできません。彼女は両親を亡くしたショックで打ちのめされているんですよ。それを汲み取ることはできませんか？
いやいや、本当にちょっとだけお話が聞ければいいんです。そうお時間を取らせるつもりはないんですがね。令状が必要だってんなら申請しないことはありませんが、そうなるとかなり本格的なことになってしまいますよ。私も北条さんの容体を気遣っているからこそ令状を取るなんて無粋を避けているんじゃありませんか。
令状を取ってまで一体何を聡子ちゃんに聞こうとしているのか、私にはさっぱりわかりません。
今回の転落、事故ではなく事件の可能性もありまして、
北条夫妻がダム戦争以来村中から嫌われているという話は知っています。ですがわざわざ旅行先まで追いかけて突き落とすというのは少々突飛すぎはしませんか？
まあ事故でもいいんですがね。ならばどうしてもよくわからない嘘があるんです。どうして嘘が必要なのかって考えるとですね、こりゃ事故ってことはありえないんじゃないかなって思うんです。
Why?
嘘とは何のことです？
いえね、北条聡子さんの言う事故当時は車で眠っていたっていう話、ちょいと話がおかしいんじゃないかなってそう思うんです。
Sadako-chan claims she was asleep in the back seat when the accident took place, so she didn't get out of the car at the viewing platform. When she woke up, she didn't see her parents. Then she found out they had fallen off the cliff.
それのどこに嘘があるというんです？まさか聡子ちゃんが実は眠っていなくて両親と一緒に展望台へ行ったと、そういう意味ですか？
そうです。北条聡子さんは眠ってなんかいなかった。両親と一緒に車を降りて展望台へ行ったんです。
I'm suddenly hit by a terrible possibility. If what Oshi says is true and Sadako-chan is saying she didn't go to the viewing platform even though she actually did, it's terrible to even imagine.
何を根拠にそうおっしゃっているのかわかりません。
You know what's very funny? I'm just thinking back now. You know how at the end of chapter 3, Sadako pretty much pushed Kechi off the bridge? And in the tip, which is from chapter 3 as well, Sadako mentions how the other man or whatever, she wishes there was a giant hole that she could push him in. Shit, I think Sadako actually killed her parents. Like, all the mentions of pushing people off things, and we've seen it before, I think that's what really happened.
それになぜ嘘をつく必要が聡子ちゃんにあるんですか？
Yeah, that and, you know, this whole self-introduction of Sadako in this section.
それなんですよ。なぜ北条聡子さんは嘘をつかなければならないのか。それの本当のところを教えていただけないと、こいつは ただの転落事故ってことでは済ませられないんです。
どうして聡子ちゃんが嘘をついているとお思いなんです？
今回の事故は所轄が違いますので、白川署さんが関係者から事情聴取をしているんですがね、その調書を読んでみるとどうにも引っかかるところがある。
引っかかるところとは何ですか？
北条聡子さんの主張によるならば、彼女は両親に展望台へ行こうと誘われたが、眠たかったのでそれを断り車を降りなかったという。そして彼女はそのまま熟睡してしまい、相当の時間が経ってから目を覚ました。そしていつまでも戻ってこない両親に不安感を募らせ泣き出した。その声を聞いて巡回中の公園作業員が話しかけて事故が発覚したことになっています。この時ですね、公園作業員の証言では、両親が崖下に転落したと彼女が先に言ったというんですよ。ところがこの時、北条夫妻が止めた車の位置からは問題の事故現場ははっきりと見えたわけじゃないはずなんです。いや、注意深く見れば柵が破損していたのを気づけたかもしれない。でもですよ、目が覚めたら両親がいないのを知って真っ先に崖下へ転落したというのは尋常ではないと思うんです。普通は両親が自分を置いてどこかに散歩に行ってしまい戻ってこないというはずなんです。転落する直接の現場を見てもいないのに、両親が転落したと第三者にいきなり言うのがね、私はどうしても腑に落ちないんですが、この辺りどうして彼女は両親が転落したと確信したのか、その経緯を教えてもらいたいと思いまして通い詰めているところだったんですよ。入院前に私も何度かお尋ねはしているんですが、記憶にない、当時は混乱していたと、まるでどこかの政治家みたいな答弁でしてね。
Or the victim of the horrible mental illness, but that too.
私はじっくり話をしてみる価値があるかなって思っていたんですよ。
The terrifying possibility has turned into certainty in my head. I assumed that her parents' accident triggered her terminal symptoms. But no. Sadako-chan had already gone terminal, and just before the accident, her heart was filled with paranoia that drove her mad. She was under a lot of stress because of her bad relationship with her stepfather. She was also being scolded by her mother for not being able to get along with him. If that made her paranoid, it made her think her parents considered her to be a bother and were going to kill her. When they went to the viewing platform, she must have thought they were going to push her off the cliff. Then a tragedy took place and she pushed her parents off instead, although she considered it to have been self-defense. I'm certain of that, because I know Himizawa syndrome better than anybody. This accident isn't an accident. It isn't a crime either, like Oshi's thinking. It is simply a tragedy. When I talked to Satoshi-kun about the family, I was even more convinced. He told me even though Sadako-chan refused to open up to her stepfather, he had tried to communicate with her. It's true their relationship didn't go well in the beginning. Sadako-chan caused trouble repeatedly and even called the city's child abuse hotline. At that point, I received guidance from the Child Consolation Center, and they pointed out that the problem lay in lack of communication between daughter and stepfather. So the stepfather took a parenting course under the social workers' guidance, and awkward though it was, he made efforts to communicate with her. Satoshi-kun noticed his efforts, so he tried to talk to Sadako-chan about it. But Sadako-chan didn't notice them at all. The excessive stress she was under triggered terminal symptoms, and she couldn't understand her stepfather's remorse. On the contrary, her stepfather's change created even more mistrust within her. As a result, they went to enjoy the beautiful view of the Shirakawa Nature Park as a family and to share in that joy. Yet that humble, ordinary family's wish couldn't even get through to Sadako-chan. What a tragic misunderstanding. Sadako-chan stayed in the car telling her parents that she wanted to sleep, but then she got out and snuck up behind them. I bet he heard her footsteps. He pretended not to notice her, thinking that she was doing that to surprise him. It's sad just thinking about what must have ran through his mind. While he thought that he had finally gotten through to her, she was actually approaching him with the intent to kill. But that's not Sadako-chan's true nature. It's a disease. Sadako-chan isn't the only one who is to be pitied. Her parents are its victims too. And now Oshi thinks she's a criminal. Judgment and punishment are required for crimes with malicious intent. But what she really needs is understanding and sympathy. No one has that understanding except for me because I know about Himizawa syndrome. I'm the director of the Erie Institute, but I've never behaved as such or exercised that authority. But I'm going to do so for the first time since taking the position. I'm not doing it as the head of the Erie Institute, this secret research organization. I'm doing it as a doctor so I can protect Sadako-chan.
白川自然公園の聡子ちゃんの両親の転落事故ですが、この件事故で決着するように山犬のお好みさんにお願いしてもらうことはできますか？
Oh.
そんなことお安いご用ですわよ。山犬はそういうものの隠蔽や捏造に最も特化した部隊ですもの。確かに早くあの転落事故が事故ということに決着しないと警察がうちの実験体に近づいて邪魔ですものね。
そういうことです。特に大石さんがこの件から早く引き上げるようよろしくお願いします。試薬投与実験のデリケートな時期です。不要な辛労をかけるのは適当ではありませんので。
まったくですわね。山犬にそのように伝えますわ。警察にもすでにコネクションがあるとのことなので圧力をかけるよう指示しましょう。近日中に白川転落事故は事故として確定することになると思いますわ。
With that, it was declared an accident. If only it really was one, it would have eased Sadako-chan's soul. Getting rid of the pathogen can't heal that wounded soul, nor can it erase the tragedy that had already taken place. All I can do is my best, so the day she regains her smile comes sooner. Damn, that just really reinforces Irie's dedication to Sadako, really. Because she's, a victim of this horrible disease. Okay, so what condition did that fulfill? Let me take a look. An execution order for the third? No, not that. That's the second year's. What is that? What is that? Sadako's aunt, death for Consumi, completion of the mess in C117. I don't think so. Footsteps following Satoshi, no. Orpheus Curse, no. Mysterious Death, no. A red capsule, no. The Revenge, no. I really don't know what that fulfilled. Interesting. Declaration of War, a bat to beat her to death, no. Oh, the truth about the Park accident, that's right. Stupid. Who the hell is it? Yeah, that's 100% what that is. Did I write that down? Oh, here we go. Put that there. Results of the research on C13 and H107. I'm pretty sure we got those two. I think. Pretty sure. I think. Maybe. Let's find out. Yep. Alright. Oh! Hey, good thing I went over here. Rika's high fever. Gotcha. Was there anything else? No. Okay. Rika's developed a high fever. A very high fever. It's not flu season, nor a season for any type of contagious disease. I can only think of the suspicious experiments Rika has gone through. Maybe the fever is being caused by those. This is Rika's mother, probably. Her growth is rather slow compared to the other children her age. Receiving mysterious shots and going through experiments for every week, I'm sure her body's exhausted. I've asked the staff to go easy on her, but Rika herself is fearless and is willing to go through anything. My husband, who should be admonishing her for that, truly believes their story that's crucial to the lives of over 2,000 villagers, takes our own daughter to that clinic every week. I'm the only one who's sincerely worried about her health. That's why I want to ask Dr. Ire to be a little more considerate towards Rika. Anyway, I have to talk to them about taking responsibility for this. Right after I called, a staff member came to pick Rika up to admit her to the clinic. As your guardian, I came with them.
落ち着いてください、お母さん。必ず救いますから。もうしばらくお待ちになってください。
これが落ち着けるかというんです。急にこんな高熱が出るなんておかしいじゃないですか。これも先週にやったというなんとかという怪しげな実験の影響じゃないんですか。
I've probably said this a million times, but I really like this section because, it fills in all the blanks, and hell, it characterizes, the accident, characters, the inciting incidents, like the Wika couple, or the Frude couple at least, how it characterizes the mom being just absolutely clueless, and it's like, you have to feel bad for her because she has no idea what the hell is going on. She, like, her kid is getting experimented on by this, supposed clinic that opened up, like, a couple years ago. Her husband's going off about how, their god is a disease and, and all of this. And if I was the mother, I would be like, what the hell are you talking about? What is happening?
リカはね、年相応の小さな女の子なんですよ。リカは友達思いだから病気にかかった友達のためにと。
分かっております。それに私たちの研究が間違ってもリカさんに悪い影響を及ぼすようなことはありえませんし、万一にもそのようなことが起こらないよう常に注意をしています。
だったらこのリカの熱は一体どういうことなんですか。
おそらくは季節の変わり目ですので。
風邪なわけないでしょ。あなたたちが妙な薬を注射したからに決まっています。
Dr. Ire only told me to calm down and refuse to accept responsibility. My husband told me this is all for the sake of the village, and that's why I've held back my doubts until now. But I'm at my limit. Their existence has been suspicious from the beginning. They're conducting their research in secret using a private policy as an excuse. That was shady enough on its own. It's just impossible. In fact, I called the Ministry of Health and was told that it wasn't true at all. Even after I told them I'm Rika Furude's mother. The clinic even came up with stupid excuses, saying normal workers often don't know of a special institute like theirs. That doesn't make sense at all. It's much, much too suspicious. Also, there are people who don't appear to be researchers working at the institute. They look like security guards, but they seem so different from normal guards in a normal hospital. In fact, one time I accidentally saw that they were armed with guns.
それはですね。
あの人たちは警察なんですか。とてもそうには見えません。だいたいあなた方は何者なんですか。厚生省の人間だなんて私は今更信じませんよ。
Dr. Ire seems taken aback by my intensity and can't even answer properly. They're still hiding a lot more from us. That tells me the research you're working on with Rika isn't anything proper.
とにかく私はリカの保護者です。リカはまだまだ子供です。あの子が何をどう返事しようとも今後は一切研究を手伝わせるつもりはありません。 あらあら、リカちゃんのお母さんではありませんの。どうもこんにちは。あら、どうかなさいまして？
いえ、お母さんがリカさんをこれ以上研究に関わらせたくないとおっしゃってまして。
それはどうしてですか？
うちの子はあなたたちの実験動物ではないからです。
そう扱ったことなどございませんわよ。それは大きな誤解ですわ。
I'm a little startled. Tachiira is a weak person who backs down under pressure. Takano-san is different. I'm yelling at her, but she's not afraid at all. On the contrary, she's glaring daggers and looks as if she's about to jump on me.
リカちゃんの熱は風によるものですわ。私たちのせいだなんてとんでもない。私たちは安全や衛生には国立研究所クラスの注意を払ってます。失礼ですが、アルコール消毒もしない手でリカちゃんの手を引いて歩いているあなたより衛生的なくらいですわよ。
そんなことは聞いていません。とにかくリカはあなたたちのおもちゃじゃないんです。リカはもう二度とここへは連れてきません。
あなたの一存で決められては困りますわね。
Shit.
ご協力をいただくことについてご両親には契約書にサインをしてもらっているはずではございませんの。研究に協力していただく見返りに決して少なくない額を毎月お口座に振り込ませていただいているはずですわ。
そんなお金私は知りませんよ。聞いたこともないです。
Rika receiving money for participating in their research really is news to me. Knowing my husband's character, he wouldn't have used it as spending money behind my back. Bet he thought of it as a free service for the villagers and completely forgot about the money being deposited into an account. There haven't been any strange deposits in the regular account, so maybe in our savings. Anyway, I don't care about that.
契約を保護にされる場合にはそれまでの振込額を全て返還していただくことになっているのはご存知ですわね。他にも一方的な保護についてそちらに非がある場合、
高野さん、落ち着いてください。お母さんもどうか。ひなみ沢症候群は以前にもご説明させていただきましたように、これからも村人たちが安心して生活していくために絶対に治療していかなくてはならないものなのです。そのためにはどうしてもリカさんのご協力が必要なのです。
治療のためって、じゃあその治療薬はいつになったら出来上がるんですか？大体おかしいじゃないですか。リカの友達のさとこちゃんのためということでしたけど、そのさとこちゃんはもう退院して元気に生活しているというじゃありませんか。確か先々週にうちの人が話を聞いた時にも、もう治療のめどは立ったというようなお話をされていたはずですわよね。
ええ、目処はついたというような話はしたと思います。ですがひなみ沢症候群の全貌を解明するためには。
全貌の解明なんか最初の話で聞いていません。リカが協力するのは村人の病気を治療するためのはずです。ならもう十分ではありませんの。皆さんがリカに怪しげな研究やら検査やらをしているのはあなた方の興味本位であって、治療とは何の関係もないんじゃありませんの。
そんなことはありません。とにかくリカさんの風邪の件は誤解なんです。もしどうしてもご不審ということでしたら。
とにかくもう結構です。お金の話もあるみたいなので、私も帰って夫と相談しますから。それでは失礼します。
They were just too shady from the very start. Because of their exaggerated story, Rika and my husband took their side but won't work on me. Anyhow, I must settle things with them right away. Because Rika isn't their toy. I especially don't trust that woman called Takano. Dr. Ire seems to me like he's still a doctor, but she doesn't. How can I describe her? I guess I can say the glow in her eyes is just unpleasant. She only sees Rika as a guinea pig. I can feel cruelty emitting from her. Neither my husband nor Rika have noticed that. I must protect her. As a mother, I must protect Rika.
高野さんらしくもない。あそこで喧嘩を買ってしまったら余計に話がこじれてしまうではありませんか。あなたらしくもないですよ。
そうですわね。ごめんなさい、取り乱してしまって。
Did something happen to put her in bad mood? Ire wondered. The heated conversation she just had didn't involve the Takano he knew. Interesting. Ooh. Oh. That just brought up a interesting thought. What if Takano got infected by the thing? By Himizawa syndrome? Maybe. Maybe. Okay, so which one would that... What condition? Would it be the completion of the medicine? I think so, since Ire did say the completion of the vaccine, which was C117, right? Was it C117? Damn it. Can't remember all these fucking numbers. Anyway, what is another thing? Execution order. Oh, we can do this. Yeah, we can do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. High fever and sweat. Takano-san always comes along with me whenever I go to take pictures on the stroll. She might have discovered the joy of cameras, and I'm happy to gain a friend who shares the same hobby. However, there's actually something else she's much more interested in. That would be the history of Himizawa. She frequently visited libraries and local archives to read through various documents and books, and when it comes to Himizawa, she's gained quite extensive knowledge of the local history. When she's in a good mood, she tells me about things like how Himizawa used to be called Onikafuchi Village, and how the villagers there used to perform various cool ceremonies based around the worship of Roshiwo-sama. It seems she loved tales of violence, and that actually gave her a mysterious charm. On the other hand, I don't do well with grotesque things, so I can hardly say anything in response. The stories of cool ceremonies that she gets excited about, I don't really get them all that well. However, with the way her eyes light up when she talks, I don't mind spending time with her, even if I have to hear about cool things.
高野さんはそういうのを調べるのが好きだね。
あら、だって楽しいわよ。封印された過去の暗黒史を紐解くなんて、とてもワクワクすることだとは思わない？
Oh, here's a charm in it. Takano-san smiled in a way that almost made it sound like a dark past is something fun. But of course it isn't. The dark history of Himizawa that she loves is something cool and atrocious, like the witch hunts in the Middle Ages.
それに、ひなみ沢症候群を調べる上でもとても役立つことなのよ。何も顕微鏡を除くことだけが調べることになるとは限らない。この寄生虫と長い時間を過ごしてきたこの村の伝承の方がよっぽど重要な何かを教えてくれることもあるんだから。
それもそうだね。うん。高野さんは本当に研究熱心だよな。
だって研究こそ私のライフワークだもの。未知の神秘に踏み込み、誰も知らなかった秘密を暴くことってとっても楽しいことだとは思わない？それは多分考えることに悦を感じることができる人間だけに許された最高の娯楽だと思うの。
Ain't that something?
この研究の第一人者だった高野先生も ひなみ沢症候群の研究に生涯を捧げるだけの何かを見出し、その魅力に取りつかれていたに違いないでしょうね。多分私だけがそんな高野先生の気持ちを理解してると思うの。研究者でない二郎さんには難しいかしら。
She always seems so enthusiastic every time she talks about the way Dr. Takano, an independent researcher who was the first person to discover the existence of the syndrome. There has to be something more there than just her admiration as a researcher. Come to think of it, Dr. Takano's full name was Hifumi Takano. Takano-san's full name is Mio Takano. Not only are their last names pronounced the same, but their first names follow a similar pattern. They must be connected somehow. I don't know anything about Takano-san's personal history, but there's a good chance that her name is an alias. So it's very possible she chose a name to reflect the researcher she admires.
なるほど。ひょっとして高野さんはだからミオという名前なのかい？いや、高野さんが尊敬しているその先生の名前が確か高野一二三。そして高野さんの名前がミオ。123の後を引き継いで34。彼が成し遂げられなかった研究を引き継いだからそういう名前なのかなって思ってね。
それを誰かに聞いたの？
いや今僕が適当に考えただけなんだよ。別に誰かが言ってたわけじゃ。
正解よ。鈍い二郎さんにしてはよくわかったわね。
Damn.
いや、高野さんがその高野先生をとても尊敬しているのは知ってたし、まるで自分が実の娘か孫で研究の正当な後継者だというような感じで言っていることがあったからね。なんとなくそんな気がしただけなんだよ。作家のペンネームだってほら、尊敬する作家のオマージュで名前を付けることもあるし。なら高野美代って名前もペンネームみたいなものなのかなって思って。
そんなことはないわよ。高野美代は本名よ。もっとも高野の高は鳥の高じゃなくて高い低いの高が正しいけれど。
え？じゃあ高野先生とは本当は同じ名字なのかね？それはますますびっくりだね。しかも美代が本名とは。高野一二三の研究を高野美代が継ぐ。なんだか運命的偶然を感じるね。
二郎さんたら運命的だなんて大げさな。別に運命でも何でもないのよ。だって。
This is news to me. I heard Takano-san discovered documents about the Himizawa syndrome left by Dr. Takano after his death and decided to continue his research. I've never heard of them be related before.
祖父の研究を引き継ぐために予算をというと、まるで身内びいきのために予算を引っ張ろうとしているように見えて、印象が良くないというふうに助言をしてくれる人がいたので、高の一文字を変えたからなの。だから人前で高野先生が私の祖父だと話したのは、小泉のおじいちゃんを除いたら二郎さんを含めて他にいるかどうかという話よ。
そうだったのかい。なるほどね。君がひなみ沢症候群の研究に入江所長も驚くほどの情熱を見せる理由がちょっとだけ分かったよ。
It's very interesting that this does show that Takano did care for Tomiki since she told him about, her, grandfather. I understand very clearly now. She really did inherit the work her grandfather was unable to complete.
祖父も医学的見地からだけでなく、古文書などの文献からもひなみ沢症候群を探っていたの。ひなみ沢症候群と何百年にもわたって共にあった村の文献を調べることは、 何百倍もの倍率を持つ顕微鏡を除くより価値があり得るというのは祖父が私に教えてくれたことなの。
I mean, hey, I mean, because of, actual myths in the real world, like, for example, in Greek mythology, Zeus, that's what they use to explain, lightning. Like, oh, it must be Zeus up above smiting us down with his lightning bolts. So, it's very interesting how mythology and science can come kind of, mixed together like that.
なるほどね。だとしたら自分の完成できなかった研究をこれだけ立派に引き継いでくれたおじいさんはきっと喜んでいるだろうね。こんなに熱心な孫に引き継げてとても嬉しいはずさ。
I really like how this game kind of touches on that about how mythology is used to explain things that ancient people couldn't understand. It's a very interesting topic, to be perfectly honest with you. And I like how it touches on that. I really like how this story does.
そうだといいわね。
I said something Takano said San would normally tease me about, but she didn't. She nodded and smiled. There's no mistake. She is indeed the granddaughter of Dr. Takano.
祖父がひふみで123、私はミオで34、私は祖父を継ぎ、ようやく3を共に数えたに過ぎない。そして祖父の次の4を数え、私も祖父もまだ見ぬ5へ至らなければならない。それが私の使命であり、生まれてきた理由でもある。
それでミオという名前なんだね。素敵な名前だと思うよ。
ありがとう。私が孫だという話は内緒にしてほしいの。クライアントの人たちにも言っていないから。耳に
うん、わかったよ。これは僕と高野さんの秘密ということで。
Although it's only a small secret, it feels good to think that I'm the only one who knows about it.
私はようやく3を数えただけ。まだ4にすら至っていない。研究の道のりはまだまだ険しく長いけれど、私は最後までやり抜くわ。必ずひなみ沢症候群の秘密を暴く。
僕もそれを応援するよ。もともとそれが僕の役割だしね。
もうそういう余計なことを言わなければ十分かっこいいのに。一言。
するよ。君を応援する。
二度言い直してもダメね。一回で言えなくちゃかっこよくはならないわね。
We laughed cheerfully together, and after we finished laughing, she became serious again and spoke as if to drive the point home.
だから二郎さん、くれぐれも私が孫だって言わないようにね。
言わないよ。約束する。
孫だからいけないということはないけれど、クライアントがそれを知って不快に思ったら予算を切られるようなことがあるかもしれない。
And we got Tomoki's promise. Where is it? Where is Tomoki's promise? Because I know exists. I wrote it down. I wrote this son of a bitch down. Tomoki's promise. Tomoki's promise. There it is. Nope. There we go.
そんなことはないと思うよ。第一、僕は喋らないしね。
絶対よ。本当に絶対よ。私はこの研究のために命をもらったの。祖父の研究を完成させることだけが 私の使命。踏みにじられた研究が世界を驚かす偉大なものであったことを証明し、土の下で朽ちる祖父をたたえさせ、神に昇華させること。それだけが私の生きる理由であり目的なの。もしそれを邪魔するような不用意な言葉をあなたがうっかり漏らして研究に支障が出たならば。
大丈夫だよ。ここで聞いた話は忘れるよ。本当さ。いや、絶対に口外しない。僕は約束は守るよ。絶対に言わない。
絶対よ、次郎さん。
I sensed something frightening within her for a moment. Afraid that she would end up possessed by it, I swore to keep the promise. Her intellectual curiosity as a researcher and her conviction to complete her grandfather's work are what stirs her passion for researching Himizawa syndrome. I think there's one more reason, but it's far too deep, and it's within a wound in her heart that someone like me should never touch. But earlier, she said, if you create problems for my research, I wonder what she wanted to say after that. I can't help thinking she wanted to say something terrifyingly merciless. I kept my promise with her, and we never talked about the issue again after that. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Okay. Defakazumi? Nope. Awareness, part-time job? No. Don't think we can do any of these yet. Don't know what the hell the wet capsule is yet. Third year's curse. We can probably do that one, but what was another thing we could do? Actually, I think that's the only one we can do. Alright, here we go. Yep. The situation has changed. Mika's father suddenly changed his mind about having her help out with the research. When Mika came down with a high fever the other day, her mother, who wasn't happy about her daughter helping in the first place, finally blew up. I was hoping the father would convince her somehow. But now he seems to be on her side. Rika's father didn't get emotional like her mother, but he demanded that we make our research plans for Rika clear, and that we finish our research within 3 months at most, which was completely unrealistic. Research can't have a deadline, that's out of the question. We cultivate results by grinding down our knowledge, skills, and time. To take time away from us is like taking away what's vital to live. How could he say such a thing? Curses, curses, curses. Rika's parents are only saying that because they don't know anything about scientific research. However, as they are the parents of the Queen Carrier, we are completely lost about what to do. Tests and experiments on the Queen Carrier are an essential part of our research into Himizawa syndrome. Her existence is the focal point of our work. To lose her would be like losing your sense of direction out in open water. Rika's providing her cooperation with our research, but the withdrawal of her guardian's consent could be a setback. The situation is extremely dire. Rika's parents are only interested in finding a cure, but to me the cure is only a small part of solving the mystery. Yep, it's definitely talk now. They can't let her go. Are our differences causing this predicament? And it's not only them, the same is happening between Ire and me. He thinks it's inevitable that we need to stop the research if Rika's parents refuse to consent. That's understandable. From the beginning, Ire never had a determination to solve the mysteries of the Himizawa syndrome. He won't back down from the research assertively, but he will passively by agreeing with Rika's parents. Is that the attitude of a researcher who's trying to unravel mysteries? He's the type of man who would step on my grandfather's research with his dirty feet. He's nothing but a coward who, in this half-hearted way, he started to feel guilty over his past the moment he saw blood. He isn't qualified to even be involved in researching Himizawa syndrome. He's simply an outsider who joined in because of the client's demands. If I were a man, he wouldn't be here in the first place. While it's true he produced wonderful results with his development of a cure, he seems to think it's alright to close up shop with that. Is he planning to waste everything by being satisfied with just that tiny result? That man doesn't have any right to discard my grandfather's research. I can feel my guts boiling. No, Hirei isn't the main person at fault. The one to blame here is that woman, Rika's mother. If she wasn't so selfish, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe it's partly my fault. I maintained a trust through relationships and obligations all this time. But somehow Rika's mother and I didn't get along, so I didn't try to socialize with her. I thought it was fine because I got along with Rika and her father. But now the mother has influenced the father and changed his decision. What negligence! What a refusal! What a blunder! Here is saying we should talk to the office in Tokyo about what to do next. But I know once the Tokyo office finds out about this, they'll order us to shut the research down. I've worked so hard to even get things started. If they hear anything negative, they'll put a stop to it. I've come too far to complete my grandfather's research. I can't let it be stopped. I still have a little time to think about this. I need to calm down and analyze this carefully. I've always come up with a great plan when I drink my favorite tea and bite my nails like this. I looked up at the ceiling and closed my eyes. As tenderly as possible. There were times where I couldn't find a solution, but someone else came up with a simple one. I've been able to overcome everything that's been thrown at me. I even endured the hell at that orphanage. So I will never let that woman get in the way. Settle your thoughts down. Think about this clearly. Be calm, Neo Takano. Someone else may come up with a better idea. But who? It's not me, can't be Irei. Of course somebody from the village will do. Do I talk to someone in Tokyo? No, I can't. I don't want to owe anyone a favor. Even Kazumi-sensei would be disgusted if he finds out I can't solve such a simple matter by myself. I know. There's someone I can talk to nearby. They're supposed to be my subordinates after all, so it's worth a try. I called the leader of the Mountain Dogs, Okonogi. The Mountain Dogs are my subordinates, but they're part of the self-defense force and I'm just a researcher. So we never really had a chance to interact. He did what he was supposed to, and I did what I was supposed to. So I never even thought of discussing anything with him. But the Mountain Dogs are there to protect and support our research. Why didn't I think of talking to him before?
Sora, nangina ko desu na.
He used to speak standard Japanese, but now he has the Himizawa accent. I guess fitting into the region is the first thing they need to do.
このままだと女王感染者の協力が受けられなくなるばかりか、騒ぎ立てる母親によって研究所の所在が暴かれる危険性もある。山犬で何か手は打てる?
And this is the first murder of the Mountain Dogs. I asked Okonogi by the direct way. I'm not really expecting an answer, but...
了解しました。山犬で対応します。お時間をいただければきれいにやりますよ。
対応?
警察沙汰にならんようにしますんで、少々の準備は必要ですが。難しい仕事じゃありませんね。
I'm startled. Mika's mother's my enemy, but I was thinking about how I could convince her. But the leader of the Mountain Dogs, the counterintelligence unit whose duty is to protect the secret research, came up with a much simpler plan.
それは殺すということ。
入江機関の機密保持にあたっては最悪の場合、それも持参ちゅう話のはずですが、もちろんご命令があって初めて実行することですが。
Right. This is a very simple problem to him. Rika's mother has started to interfere with our research. Not only that, there's a chance she might talk to people about the Institute. So they will eliminate her.
それは確かにうまい手ね。うまくやれるの？
そのために来ている我々ですんで。大臣の孫の誘拐以来、 久々の大仕事になりますわ。
I remember now. The Mound Dogs are the ones who kidnapped the grandson of the Minister of Construction and used that to blackmail him. It has been a few years, so I completely forgot about that. They did such a marvelous job then. That's right. I have the Mound Dogs on my side.
実行はすぐにでも可能？
ただ殺すだけなら今夜にでも。ただそれでは騒ぎが大きくなりますね。
Son
周
of
到
a
に監視
bitch.
してからきれいに蒸発してもらうようお膳立てします。そのための時間さえもらえれば。
Just like a cat's eyes under a bright light, I can feel something in the back of my eyes open up. Up until now, I've been whacking my brain trying to figure out how to make her my ally, or at least make her surrender, or pacify her. Yet, one order to this man and the problem's easily solved. I feel like a bird taking its first flight. How easily I can get rid of that annoying mother. All I have to do is give an order. I feel grateful to Kazumi-sensei for giving me such terrific subordinates. What a wonderful power he has given me. I was taught that all people are equal. But if I have the power to control people's lives, then that means I'm more important than they are. What a feeling it is to be above others.
消すのはフルでリカの母親だけでいいですね。
え？あ、いや、ちょっと待って。
Does he mean only Rika Furude's mother? I can feel chills all over my body. If possible, maybe I should have let her father disappear too. Rika is willing to help. She has no other relatives in the Furude family. If both parents die, then she has to depend on someone. The Ear Institute can support her. We can give her status, money, and protection. We can give her everything. By doing so, maybe it's possible to make her one of us rather than just having her as a helper. All my worries are melting away. Everything I was just concerned about seems just like a joke now. I had such powerful subordinates all this time, yet I never realized. All my tension is being released and I'm starting to feel relaxed. I can feel myself regaining my cool head. I'm going to get rid of them. Rika's parents, that is. The Queen Carrier is my guinea pig. A guinea pig doesn't need parents. That's right. It's almost time for the Wanakagashi festival. If they dine that day, people will call it the curse of Oshiro-sama. The murder case from 2 years ago and the accident from last year are two separate incidents, yet because they happened on the day of Wanakagashi, they're being called the curse of Oshiro-sama. Then if her parents' deaths occur on this year's Wanakagashi, it'll be Oshiro-sama's curse for years in a row. The miracle of Oshiro-sama, also the curse. I'm going to create them. This is a chance for me to ascend to godhood with toy with human fate. The incidents that occurred 2 years in a row are said to be a curse, but not everyone believes that. However, if it happens 3 years in a row, then everyone has to believe. Because that'll be a true curse that's created by me. I'll become Oshiro-sama. My desire for revenge against God is coming together.
ただ消すだけではなんだか面白みがないと思わない？
When I started to laugh, Okonogi wouldn't to show his interest.
私たちの手でお社様のたたりを作ってみるの。
I can't just let her die. She'll be demoned away, and I'm going to enjoy dissecting her alive. Of course, I won't just have fun. This will be extremely useful for our research. After all, she's the previous Queen Carrier. So this is where Takano realizes the power she has. And where she comes up with the plan to become Oshiro-sama. Son of a bitch. So that's what it is. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Okay, so that's the execution of the execution order for the third year. 100%. Suspicion, get rid of that. Opportunist, doctor, where is it? Where is it? Where's the execution order? I know I wrote it somewhere. Well, it's whatever. I'll find it later. But declaration of war from Higurashi. Let's go ahead and save real quick, since it's been a minute. Plus, I'm kind of afraid of the game crashing, so. Okay, here we go. Mysterious death of the Furude couple. Deep down, I was prepared for something to happen tonight once again. The first year, the workers were stirred into a frenzy, killing and dismembering the old man. In the second year, the Hojo couple were killed through a fake accident. Since the dam protests, only people who have been hated by the villagers died on the day of Wantakagashi. Some people in the village were calling the incidents the curse of Osho-sama. Now that the dam protests are over, there would be no meaning in the village's enemies being killed on the night of the festival, I thought. If that was true, then there were still some enemies left over. I thought that perhaps that would happen again on the night of the festival 3 years in a row. My hunch was right. At first, however, it looked so natural that I didn't think anything of it. The festival was nearing its end, and the village officials were gathered under the main tent. They opened their beers and enjoyed the leftover corn and braised cow triple from the refreshment stands. Tripe. I was in the main tent too, being entertained by the villagers. So I was actually there at the scene of the third year's incident when it happened. Yet I didn't notice anything at the beginning. Most of the older folks in the village were heavy drinkers, but a few were lightweights too. The priest was one of the latter. The priest was a representative as well as a host during the Wanakagashi festival. So every time visitors and guests arrived, he greeted them, and each time he was offered a drink, so by the night's end he was pretty worn out. That's why I didn't think anything of it to see the priest sitting by himself in a folding chair. The mayor, Kimiroshi, was the one to tap his shoulder and ask him if he was alright. So how the hell did the mountain dogs pull this off? When I saw what was going on, I noticed he was covered in a terrible sweat and was definitely not relaxing in his chair enjoying the cool evening breeze. His face had a sickly pallor, and I thought he should lie down immediately. Oh.
神主さんの具合が悪いようなので診療所に連れて行きます。すみませんが、境内の下に車を回してもらってもよろしいですか？
ええ、お安いご用ですわよ。
So the priest and his wife headed to the clinic with Dr. Ire. I don't know about young people, but the elderly know their own bodies well. They almost never push themselves to the point where they start feeling ill. Especially with someone like the priest, it was hard to imagine himself drinking himself sick. The circumstance of experience of my years was telling me something. I headed to the Ire clinic just in case. I tried to follow their car, but because the festival was almost over and all the stands were closing up, there was a lot of traffic going in and out, making it almost impossible for me to leave the temporary parking lot. More than 20 minutes had passed since the police was carried in by the time I arrived at the clinic. 20 minutes? What can happen in 20 minutes? 20 minutes. If it hadn't taken me 20 minutes, my involvement in this year's incident would have been quite different. I regretted not leaving on foot the moment I realized how hard it was to get my car out. All I get to do now is jot down the facts. Because between the time the priest left the festival and the time I arrived at the clinic, during those 20 minutes, this year's curse had taken place. The priest's condition changed for the worse right after he arrived at the clinic. He died. The autopsy results say it was heart failure, but how can I accept that? I don't think the priest was having health problems, and everyone was taken by surprise by this sudden event. Moreover, the wife of the priest disappeared too. According to the clinic staff, she was with him right after he died, but she's nowhere to be seen now. Of course, she's not at home either. Maybe someone poisoned the priest. During the dam conflict, the priest was frowned upon for his remarks. He said there was no need to make a big fuss, because the dam project would be cancelled anyway. The older villagers liked to hold grudges and hadn't forgotten that, so even I had to hear word of them talking about how the priest wasn't fit for the shrine to Oshiro-sama. I called for backup and had them go search for the missing wife. With last year's falling couple incident as precedent, it was easy to believe both wife and husband could become victims. The village's youth group got organized and searched from the village to the mountains, and as a result, we found a set of sandals and a will by the edge of the Onikafuchi swamp. The will said something about how her husband's death was the curse of Oshiro-sama, and she was throwing herself in the swamp to calm the gods' anger. In other words, she committed suicide by jumping into the swamp. Legends say that the swamp is bottomless and is connected directly to hell. Once you sink, you'll never come back. Divers from the police department searched the swamp, but her body was nowhere to be found. Perfect, set up some sandals and a quote-unquote suicide note. The past two mysterious incidents were solved individually, just as the higher-ups say, but something is odd about this year's mysterious death. The ill priest was carried to the clinic. His wife accompanied him. Within 20 minutes, the priest died of heart failure, and the wife either committed suicide or disappeared. The death of the priest may really have been a fatal heart attack. But for his wife to assume that it was the curse and to commit suicide by jumping into the swamp, for all that to happen in 20 minutes just doesn't seem natural. The Furude family has no relatives. Even if she was a true believer in Oshiro-sama, how could she commit suicide while leaving behind her one and only daughter? Ire is hiding something too. But he's just a village doctor, which means he's nothing more than their pawn. If this is all a conspiracy to assassinate the priest, then there is someone who's pulling the strings. I had been starting to think that they're trying to tie the past two incidents to the village so forcefully was a bit overbearing of me, but this incident was enough to convince me that this series of cases involving mysterious deaths in Himizawa were all grounded in one intention. This incident has countless members of discrepancies. But someone from the village seems to be putting pressure on high command. And just like the past incidents, this one will be treated as an individual case and end up being forgotten. Since it happened 3 years in a row, everyone in the village will say it's the curse of Oshiro-sama. I think that's the culprit's goal. After the war, belief in Oshiro-sama became antiquated. Is someone committing these murders as a ritual to restore that god's dignity? The one pulling the strings must be the Sonozaki family. A few months passed. Oryu Sonozaki said something like it was natural for that priest to be cursed by Osho-sama, and so the priest's case was lumped together with the mysterious Himizawa deaths, otherwise known as Osho-sama's curse. At first, I simply wanted to avenge the old man, but now that the case had grown into an abnormal one, centered at the village's faith. Damn it! The old man's killer is human. I won't let it be pushed off onto some nonsense curse. Oh, Oshi. If only you knew. If only you knew. So what we got from that? I guess mysterious deaths of the Furude couple. Yeah. Was there anything else? What the hell was... Where's the execution one? Because I know I wrote it down. Just gotta find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Bad to beat her to death. Oh, a red capsule. The 30 years curse of... Yeah. The strange medicine that I can hardly remember was a capsule. Okay, I'm just gonna put that down. Red capsule. Or maybe it was an oval tablet. It was so red, it must have been a capsule. I can't imagine a tablet in that color. It must have been a capsule. I think it was a little bigger than a normal one. I think. I can't remember. Although I can hardly remember, if I see that medicine again, it will refresh my memory. That medicine strips away humanity. It takes away a human soul, memory, emotion, and numbs the human body. There are no thoughts, no interest, no will to stay awake or sleep. There's no sense of time. Sometimes a second can feel like an eternity, and other times I can almost see the hour hand move. Either way, there's no emotion involved. I can't feel any emotion. The medicine only lets me stay in bed and look up the ceiling. Only the people who have taken it can understand this misery. What's more scary is that, while I'm on the medication, I don't realize how scary it is. I'm given the medication daily and I keep losing all my senses. So when the medicine wore off by accident, I realized I should never take it again. That's right. This isn't medicine that will heal me. It's just going to kill me slowly. This has to be Rana. If I continued to take this medicine, I probably wouldn't be able to tell if I was dead or alive, and I would end up losing myself forever. I'll keep looking up at the ceiling without any emotion and keep watching the clock tick forever. If I take the medicine again, I'll lose all the sense I finally gained. I may never be able to bring myself back again. Since the day I realized that, I've been pretending to take the medicine, but throwing it away instead. If your doctor prescribes medication, you have to finish taking it, even if your symptoms are gone. I can hear my mother's voice. Anytime I went to the doctor's office when I was a child, my mother said that to me. I usually got well before I finished all the medicine, so I didn't finish taking the rest. That's why my mother said that. But this is a different type of medicine. I don't even remember how old I was when my mother said that, but with this strange capsule in front of me, I have to try and get rid of my mother's voice from inside my head. I pressed down on my head with my elbows until it hurt, trying to get rid of what my mother kept telling me. Right. As my head clears, I start to remember the ugly side of my mother. My mother betrayed her family. Yup. Rana. She betrayed me and my father, who waited for her at home with dinner on the table. She told us she was busy with work, but she was having an affair. That was bad enough, but she asked my father for a divorce after he took such good care of her for so many years. But there's something else I can't forgive her for. She invited only me to meet with her new family. Not my father, just me. My father and I are family. Family means being together. Yet my mother tried to destroy the bond between my father and me. Not only had she destroyed her bond with him, she tried to destroy my bond with him too. When I remember, it makes me feel angry and hateful, and I can't forgive her. The back of my eyes started to hurt, and I could feel the hatred on my face. That overflowing animosity is aimed not only at my mother, but also the man she had an affair with. Uncle Akihito. I didn't like him teasing me, but he gave me an allowance and tried to have fun with me. I liked him very much, but his niceness was all calculated. He wanted to destroy the family bonds between my mother, my father, and me. That's why I shouldn't have said I liked him very much. That's right. I'm starting to remember and understand. I had now know my true enemy. It was his fault that my mother started to have an affair. Because my mother was a very good mother. He was the one who made her a bad one. So he's the one who deserves the blame. When was the first time I met him? I think it was the time when my mother and I went out and had lunch at a restaurant. She introduced him as one of her colleagues from work. At that time, if I think about that first meeting, I think I felt something wasn't right with the way my mother acted around him. That's right, I did. I did think something was wrong. It didn't feel right. I wish I'd trust my instincts then. I was a fool to think he was a nice person just because he gave me a strawberry from his piece of cake. It was not my father's fault. Because I bet he'd never met Uncle Akito. But I have. I've met him many times and there were a lot of chances to realize he was my enemy. If I had a strong enough will to protect my happiness, I could have noticed that. I can't forget how my father worked on that day. My father, who was so nice and gentle, grabbed his knees so tightly and cried so hard. He asked me if I knew Uncle Akito. I answered yes. Then he slapped me in the face. When he slapped me, I finally realized how stupid I was for being taken in by him. That's right, it was my fault. I destroyed the happiness I had hoped to last forever with my own hands. If I hadn't been that stupid, my father wouldn't have had to cry like that. My mother would have stayed good. If I wasn't that stupid, it was my fault. I can't forgive my mother and Uncle Akito. Even when I hate him this much, I still call him Uncle, and I can't forgive myself for that. It was my fault. Everything was my fault. I was too stupid and foolish, and that's why this happened. I hate her. I'm sad and frustrated. I can't stop being angry. My mother ever came back to this house, I would whip her apart with my hands. But she never came back. My anger turned towards everything that my mother left in the house. I destroyed every relic my mother left behind, one after another. I threw and smashed everything, but that still didn't calm me down. Even after I turned the whole house upside down, I still couldn't calm my anger. Where does my anger gather? It starts from inside of me, goes through my arms to my fingertips, and spurts from my nails. Where else can it go? So my nails aim at my own body. My body's the filthiest, most disgusting thing of all. I'm the one to be blamed. No, I'm not to blame. My mother's most at fault. My mother's the most corrupt. My body and soul feel filthy. I wanted to stain myself black and slice the remaining flesh into pieces. And one day I finally realized there are tons of maggots in my blood. I am rotten. I am rotten from the inside. Come on, rot more. But it isn't indescribably itchy. It is itchy, 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 itchy. I stabbed my thigh with a razor blade in the bathroom. Jesus. The blood flowed out. Reddish black maggots spilled out. I forced myself to open my blood vessels with my thumbs. The maggots spilled out. Squirm, 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 squirm. So many maggots spilled out from my left thigh. There are probably just as many in my right thigh. Maybe my calves too. My arms, abdomen, chest. No. How many maggots are there in my blood vessels in my neck? Strangely, although I've become rather insane, there's still a part of me that is calm. If I keep whipping myself apart like this, I'll end up dead. But everything's my fault, and I'm the one to be blamed. Even if I blame my mother, the only way I can disgrace her is with my own body. Oh, I get it now. That's the best means for quelling my anger. I feel like I'm thinking incredibly rationally now. In order to forgive myself, I need someone else to blame. It has to be someone else's fault, but no such person exists. No matter how much I think about it, or how I twist the logic, my own body's my only outlet to vent this anger. So long as there's no one else to blame, I'll be forced to whoop open every blood vessel in my body. Just like no matter how much I scratch, it still itches. No matter how much I whip apart my own body, it's never enough. The blood is all over the bathroom, and I'm sure it makes for quite a gruesome scene. Although I'm trying to stay calm, I can't ignore the sharp pain that runs through my body. Maybe because I've lost so much blood, or maybe because I'm naked in the bathroom, I feel freezing cold. My whole body is throbbing, my heart is beating so fast. I'm cold and hot at the same time, and I'm also sad, angry, and in pain. I want to find something that lets me forgive myself. Osho-sama. Then it came. It came in a heavenly light. It was mysterious and unreal, like something out of this world. It apologized. It kept apologizing. Why is it apologizing? You apologize when you're at fault. So this thing I just met for the first time was admitting to wronging me. That means I'm not at fault. It's at fault, not me. I dropped the razor blade. It fell into the puddle of blood. The pain has taken over my body. The pain of whipping apart my own body is taking over me. I've been telling myself this pain is the punishment for what I've done. But I'm not at fault. It is. So I don't need to accept this pain as punishment. So I don't need to defile my body anymore. She continued apologizing to me over and over as I stood there covered in fresh blood. She apologized every time I wanted to blame myself, constantly whispering that it wasn't my fault. Osho-sama exists. She is always following me. Pit-pat, pit-pat. And every time I can't endure the guilt, she apologizes and tells me I'm not at fault. Everything is caused by the curse of Osho-sama. Things started to go wrong when I broke the rule that I wasn't supposed to leave Himizawa. I finally remember. When I moved from Himizawa, one of my neighbors gave me a charm. She said that if I left Himizawa, I'd be cursed, so I had to take the charm. That's right, she gave me a charm. It had some complicated writing on it, but I haven't seen it since I moved here. I may have lost it. There's nothing I can do about that. If Himizawa residents leave Himizawa, they'll be cursed. My mother and I, even Uncle Akaido too, may have gone insane because of the curse of Osho-sama. Nobody was at fault from the beginning, because everything is caused by the curse of Osho-sama. Nobody's at fault. Nobody! I'm finally able to forgive everything. The anger that I couldn't get rid of, even after I destroyed everything, including my body and soul, is finally gone. Father, now I know. The curse of Osho-sama is what caused my mother to leave and for you to be so sad. You remember Osho-sama, don't you? The guardian deity of Himizawa. That's right. People of Himizawa aren't supposed to go to the outside world. That's why Mother went insane. It's all because of the curse of Osho-sama. If we had stayed in Himizawa, we would have been happy. Osho-sama came to me and told me that. Come to think of it, Osho-sama has been trying to tell me that for a long time. After Mother left, I didn't know why she left or how to express my anger. Osho-sama has kept following me ever since then to let me know that. She followed me everywhere. The sound of her footsteps echoing behind me. But I pretended I didn't notice her. That was so stupid. I didn't hear her voice until I slashed my body all over. If only I had listened to Osho-sama's voice. I bet she started warning me once Uncle Akaido came to my light. If the whole family had gone back to Himizawa, my mother wouldn't have had an affair. We would have been happy there. I bet Osho-sama has been trying to tell me that. That's right, she must have been trying to warn me ever since we left Himizawa. She was always with me. She followed me everywhere. I was stupid trying to pretend I didn't notice. Everything was because of that stupidity. If I had noticed Oshio-sama's voice, my family wouldn't have suffered from the curse. It's all my fault. Oshio-sama's apologizing. She keeps apologizing, which means this is all her fault. So this isn't my fault, is it? Because this is the curse of Oshio-sama, right? She's apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oshio-sama is apologizing repeatedly. So I'm sorry too. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't hear your voice. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We're from Himizawa, so we have to keep hearing your voice. Oshio-sama definitely exists. Can't you hear, Father? Don't you see? Oshio-sama's right there apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. Come on, Father, let's apologize too. Mother, you don't have to apologize. You should die because of the curse. I hate you, Mother. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate myself for being your daughter. These maggots are your fault. They make me itch everywhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't want that medicine. My mother got it to kill me, so I don't want it. I won't take it. I told you I won't take it. Stop. Just a curse, so you can't fix it with medicine. It won't get rid of the maggots because this is a curse. No, I don't want a shot either. Stop. It hurts. Everything is falling into a grey world. The voices of my father and the doctor sound so far away. Even what just happened seemed like it happened a long time ago. Again, I'm given the capsule and even my memory from a minute ago is gone. Holy shit. Oh, we're still going? Damn. I'm back in my bed, staring at the ceiling. And what I can see, the only thing that interests me is the hands on the clock. Tick tock, tick tock. I follow the minute hand as it goes around quickly, and the hour hand as it goes around slowly. I see other things too, but they keep going through the same motions, just like the hands on the clock. I'm sorry. It's my fault, I'm sorry. Oshio-sama keeps apologizing. Tick tock, I'm sorry. Tick tock, I'm sorry. Repeating over and over, constantly, nothing else. The chorus of Higurashi coming in through the window during the night seems louder than usual. Wow. Oh, God, that strained my voice. That really did. But, God, it's so fucked up. We've seen, bits and pieces of that from chapter, 6, yeah. But I feel like that really illustrates, Rena's whole mental, her thoughts during all of that. And it's interesting how both in Sadako and in Rena, how the symptoms of Himizawa syndrome come out. Because of Hanyu's interference, it seemed like it reduced some of the symptoms of the Himizawa syndrome, which would be, I think, number one in Rena's case would be anger. And the reason why she cut herself was because she thought she was at fault, not because of someone else, as Sadako did, which caused her to murder her parents. It just, with the whole picture being filled in now, this entire story is a tragedy. No matter how you mark it. That's the best word. If you want to sum up Higurashi within one word, it's tragedy. Because this entire thing is just a gigantic tragedy. There's no other word to describe it. The forgiveness of Rena Rigu's sins. Okay, there we go. I think we can 100% write that down as well. Sins. Here we go. Forgiveness and innocence, so we can do this. Footsteps in 4th year. So Satoshi's point of view? Probably. My harsh and brutal days are still continuing without end. The situation between my aunt and Sadako remains the same. My aunt yells at Sadako for no reason every night. Although Sadako cries, she talks back to her. So my aunt's yelling goes on and on forever. Sadako's crying goes on and on too. When Sadako sees me, she grabs onto me. She hides behind my back and tries to ignore my aunt's yelling. She always comes to seek my help. Sadako doesn't open up to anyone but me. So if I don't protect her, she'll be devastated. That security is something our parents didn't grant to Sadako's. I have to be the one to provide it. But every day, day after day, every time Sadako cries, every day, day after day, Sadako grabbed onto me while crying yesterday. I patted her head, but along with pity, a different emotion came to me. I wanted to grasp her head and smash her against the wall. What an unbelievably devilish and awful emotion. No, no, no. I can't think that. No, it's not that I can't think it. I just can't acknowledge that feeling. Since that day, there has been someone else inside of me. That someone is trying to eat me up from the inside and switch places with me. When Sadako begs for my help while crying, that person tries to make me spill out some awful and hateful words that are sure to damage Sadako forever. Leave me alone. Don't grab onto me. Go away. No, 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 I can't. To prevent him from taking over my body, I clenched my stomach and drove him out. I managed to do that. But that wasn't it. That person is coming after me, trying to get back inside of me. I won't let such a scary thing get back inside of me. He knows there's no room to slip into my heart as long as I keep it held shut like this. So he stopped trying, and instead is following right behind me. He's waiting for me to let my guard down. When I walk, he walks right behind me. He's breathing down my neck. He follows me everywhere, and when I lie down, he stares down at me. He's waiting for the right moment to jump back inside of me so he can hurt Sadako. It's been so hard lately. Maybe the heat is getting to me, and that's why I think things like this. I'm the only family Sadako has, so I'll have to protect her from my aunt for the rest of my life. That's my eternal duty. The rest of my life? Forever? Do I really have to do that forever? If only Sadako. But I'm her only family. But it's not because of my aunt. But it's because of the villagers too. It's almost one of Higurashi. Some irresponsible people are saying that the curse will once again fall upon Himizawa. They're also saying it'll fall upon me and Sadako for sure. Maybe it's just my imagination, but lately the villagers expecting it are giving me especially sharp looks. I feel like I'll be killed on the day of Wanagagashi. Of course, there was no reason why I would be killed, and it's just my imagination. Pat. Don't come inside me. Sadako's my only sister in my family, so don't tell me those awful things. Pat, stop, don't come this way, don't come this way! The footsteps came up right behind me, and the hand touched me on the shoulder. Oh shit.
レナか大丈夫かな
I must have been acting weird. Rona looked worried. Her name is Rona Rigu. She just moved here and transferred to my school. Just moved here, huh? Okay. Rigu families move. Bingo. And footsteps following Satoshi. Nobody remembers her, but supposedly she lived here in Himizawa a long time ago. In fact, she hardly remembers anything about Himizawa either. Since Mion is the only other classmate who is my age, I'm glad she's my friend. She's usually carries on happily alongside Mion, but occasionally she shows more feminine consideration.
具合悪いの？保健室で休んだ方がいいんじゃないかな。
This is probably the time where Satoshi tells Rena about the footsteps, because we learned that information back in chapter 5. Yeah, chapter 5.
ありがとう。大丈夫だよ。僕、そんなにも具合が悪そうだったかい？
うん。
Her immediate answer made me realize I wasn't myself.
さとこちゃんのことで心配事？
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだよ。
She knows that my problem isn't physical, but a mental one. This is just something I think to myself, but even though Rena seems like a very easygoing person, maybe she's more perspective than she appears.
レナは転校してきたばかりだから頼りないかもしれないけど、話を聞くことはできるからね。きっと聞いてあげるだけでも少しは心が軽くなると思うから。
Although she just transferred, she already knows quite a bit about me and my sister, and also about the situation with the villagers. But talking about it won't solve anything. Actually, if I talk about it, I feel like I'd be admitting to my weakness, which might give that person a chance to get inside of me again.
さっき声をかけたらすごく驚いたでしょ？
So Satoshi didn't think the footsteps were Oshiro-sama. He just had a intrusive thought. We all have intrusive thoughts. And he wanted to cast that out so bad. He didn't even want to acknowledge it, to think about it. So he's characterized the syndrome as a kind of demon in his perspective that's trying to get inside of him and let him do something horrible to Sadako. It really does show how the syndrome varies amongst people, how it goes about it in different ways, depending on their situation and depending on their circumstances. Like, for instance, let's just go through, 2 prime examples. Sadako, it attacked her via her paranoia she always had about her stepfathers, about how they were, always abusive to her, and she also casted paranoia on her mother of why did she leave, the original father. And so Sadako eventually murdered them because she thought they were going to kill her and that they were possessed by demons. The syndrome comes out in Rena via the divorce, and she thinks it is her fault, which causes her to cut herself in horrible ways until she hears Hanyu's voice, which makes her a believer in Oshiro-sama, which can, which alleviates her, which helps her with this disease, with this syndrome at least. So it's very interesting how this syndrome just comes out, and how it not comes out, but how it is, I don't know, how it's what's the right word to say, how the syndrome affects each of these people.
そんなにも考え事をしてるならきっと辛い悩みなんだろうなって思って。はあ。
それはなぜか最近誰かにずっと後をつけられているような錯覚がしてね。ひたひたペタペタ。だからそれかと思ってでごめん。僕は一体何を言ってるんだか。
足音？ ついてくるの？
え？
私その足音知ってる。
What a cutoff. What a cutoff. So the footsteps. I think in Muna's case it is Hanyu. With Satoshi's case, it's just his. I think it's just his mind. Really. Ooh, a bottle of wine. Ooh, I think I can actually do this one. But let's do this. When do we go?
ごめんください。
はいはいはい。あらら、こんにちは。あれ、どちら様？
あ、どうも。私、お隣に引っ越してきましたリュウグウと申します。引っ越しのご挨拶にお伺いしました。どうかよろしくお願いします。
あららら、こんな田舎の村にこんな若い子が引っ越してきちゃったのかい。そうかいそうかい、よく来たね。お母ちゃん、お隣さん、引っ越しのご挨拶来られたわよ。
でっけえ声出さんでも聞こえてんな。つったらわざわざ丁寧に挨拶すまなっしゃろな。
竜宮さんだってお隣の空き家に引っ越されてきたって。
ああ、あんたレナちゃんかいな。大きゅなって。
はい、レイナです。覚えててくれてたんですか？は
あ、なんねお母ちゃん知ってんのかい。
知ってるもなんと。ああ、お前沖宮に住んどったから知らんか。ずいぶん前に住んでたお隣さんね。そうかいそうかい、戻ってきたんかい。やっぱり都会よか村の方が落ち着くんねな。
住んでたのは小さい頃なんであまりよくは覚えていないんですけど、でもここが私の帰ってくるところだったんだなってとても懐かしくなります。
なら馴染むのは早いね。なんかお手伝いできることがあったらいつでも言ってね。ああ、遠慮はしないのがここのルールだから。
はい、ありがとうございます。
I thought I remembered things if I walked around the village, but I still don't remember much. I do recall, however, the vivid breeze, as well as the brilliant greenery. I don't remember the village, but I remember that this is my hometown. Red scars still remain on my body. They're hardly visible, and I can't even feel them. I'm sure they'll disappear soon. Now that I'm back in Himizawa, sometimes I wonder who I was back in Ibaki. In fact, I think I wasn't myself in the moment I left. And now, by coming back here, I finally regained my true self. I can hardly remember what I was like back in Ibaki. Well, that's probably because of the red medicine. The medicine erased all my painful memories. Maybe that was for the best. I just wanted to be forgiven back then. I couldn't forgive my mother. I couldn't forgive Uncle Akito. More than anybody, I couldn't forgive myself. I wanted someone to acknowledge that I wasn't at fault. I wanted to be forgiven. So Oshiwa-sama apologized. She told me that I wasn't at fault because it was the curse of Oshiwa-sama. That's how I was able to forgive myself. Honestly, it being Hanyu, it makes a lot more sense of why Oshiwa-sama would apologize for the curse. Because it isn't her doing. That was how I was able to forgive myself. I didn't have to die by tearing my blood vessels out of my body. I think people have to die because they become corrupted. That's why people try their hardest not to dirty themselves all their lives. But I'm still living, despite how dirty I am. I've been allowed to live. Is there some filth left on me? Or am I all clean? I don't know. The only thing I know is that the me who lived in Abaki... I'm mispronouncing that, I know for a fact. And the me who's here right now are two different people. I no longer feel the need to take responsibility by whipping myself apart because of the filth. After arranging some furniture and unpacking some boxes, we finally had dinner. Although I hardly remember Himizawa, my father remembers things very clearly.
お父さんたちがひなみ沢に住んでた頃にもあったんだけど、今は綿流しという行事がとても大きなお祭りになってるらしい。6月の終わり頃にあるらしいね。
綿流し？
お父さんも見たことないんでわからないんだけど、体についた汚れを綿に吸い取らせて沢に流す行事らしい。
Absorb the filth.
汚れって流してしまえるものなんだね。
そりゃそうだ。人間は罪深い生き物だからね。生きてるだけで日々汚れが我が身に降り積もっていくものなんだそうだ。それを年に1回体をお掃除するように綿に吸い取ってもらって捨ててしまおうということらしいよ。
People become burdened with filth and sin by doing something bad. Court sentences can settle your crimes legally, but that doesn't mean the burden of sin, of the filth, will just go away. In other words, human hands can't erase human filth in this human world. The filth is something humans can't get rid of. That's why we need a god from a different world to do that. That's what I thought. But I'm surprised to learn about Wantakagashi. Human hands erasing human filth in the human world. Letting the continent absorb the filth and drifting it down the stream. That means it's okay to live in this world. I tried to commit suicide because I couldn't forgive myself. Osho-sama apologized to me and told me to come back to Himizawa. And now here in Himizawa, there's this Wanakagashi, a ceremony to get rid of the filth. This isn't just a coincidence. Himizawa is a place to wash away your filth. It forgives sins. It is a place of forgiveness.
そういうのをな、みそぎって言うんだ。
あ、言葉だけは聞いたことあるかな。
日本文化というものは、汚れというものにものすごく厳格だろ。汚れを残したまま表舞台にとどまることを許さない。ほら、政治家や社長で汚職があるとすぐに辞職するのもそういうことだ。汚れた人は表舞台を去らなければならない。悪く言うと、汚れを誰か一人に押し付けて隕石させるわけだな。
Sins and filth must be removed. That's why people push them onto someone else, then try to get rid of the filth by sacrificing that person. But if that's the case, every time the filth is created, people will try to pass around responsibility for it. That's awfully hideous. It's almost even like seeing demons in the human world. That's why they came up with the idea of letting the continent absorb all of the filth. By doing so, people can live without making someone else take on all the responsibility, sins and filth. Putting everyone's sins into someone and then killing that person makes that person a sacrifice. Who wants to be a sacrifice? That's why they desperately push their sins around. A purification ceremony is about replacing the human sacrifice with a non-human one. The purification ceremony dramatically changed Japanese culture. Before then, people always believed someone had to become a sacrifice. In other words, even with filth, everyone can live without blaming someone else. Filth can be forgiven by a method other than death. Only an existence higher than humans can forgive them. I was forgiven by Osho-sama, came back to this place. To Wantakagashi, the purification ceremony that exists here. Letting Khan absorb the filth and drifting it away. There's no need for a sacrifice. That's why I've been allowed to live. The filthy me has drifted away, so the me that remains is no longer Rina Rigu. If I'm not Rina, then who am I? If I'm without filth, without all of the icky things, who am I? A name vaguely appeared in my head. My new name, that only removes one of the letters from Rina, but I think it's a cute name. All the icky things are erased and forgiven with the removal of that one letter. So my name is no longer Reina. My name is Rena. It's so interesting. Seeing all of this, all of these, I don't know how to describe it, like, connections. Not connections, but like, the information we've learned across the entire game finally be put in front of us, you know? Like, it truly is, you know, absolutely something. Awareness of his sins, the mysterious death. Ooh, we can do this one. Actually, let me save real quick. Be in a minute. Okay, formation of club. Oh, we get to see the formation of the club. School is the children's world. The values of grown-ups don't apply. Children decide their own values and create their own world. So the rules of the grown-up world, of the village, don't mean anything here. Even when the villagers badmouth the Hojo family and try to isolate them, that has no meaning at our school. In the children's world, children decide the rules. Rules they think are irrational don't exist here. That's why, as the representative for the children here, I vow that I will never let any irrational rules come into our world. Within the school, no harassment is allowed towards the Hojo's siblings. In the very beginning, some boys teased Sadako, but they were punished severely, and hasn't happened ever since. That's the least I can do to resist the madness of the village. So I hope Satoshi and Sadako both feel that the school is a safe place for them. Satoshi must notice my concern, but because he often smiles when he's here. However, I never see Sadako smile. Sadako's classmates used to try to cheer her up, but soon after they decided that it was best to just leave her alone. I used to try to talk to her, but when I realized something, I stopped doing that. I'm a member of the Sonozaki family. To Sadako, I'm one of her enemies, so I'm sure she feels uncomfortable to have me around her. All I can do is watch over her. That's why Sadako's alone in the classroom. That said, Rika-chan is always hanging around with her, even though Sadako told her she was annoying. Satoshi, too, is always beside her. These two are the only ones who remain by her side. It isn't limited to Sadako, of course. The malicious isolation is still continuing towards the Hojo family. Because their hysterical aunt is so hostile towards her neighbors, there's nobody who sympathizes with her. It's wise to know that there are fights worth picking and also fights better set aside. If the aunt had even a little tolerance of self-control, this isolation wouldn't have continued. Of course, the villagers were the ones who forced them into that role, even though they weren't related to the issue. But if she had stayed quiet, then it wouldn't have gone so far. The aunt's hostility is one thing, but she's dragging everyone in the family into it as well. The uncle and the aunt haven't been getting along, and the Yardwick comes home. Both Satoshi and Sadako are forced to live in shame. The aunt vents her stress by harassing Sadako. This was the same too. The aunt is her guardian after all, but Sadako doesn't even try to hide her disgust, so things aren't going smoothly between them. If she had behaved like Satoshi, then she wouldn't have been made into a target. So, does that mean the sad life Sadako is living right now is something she caused herself? No, it doesn't. But no matter how much I sympathize and how much I want to help her, nobody knows what to do. An apology won't change the situation. The photo can't be reversed. The fact that the Hojo family is ostracized by the entire village can't be changed. That's a horribleness working underneath our lives. The neighbors, the village, and the community. Once they become your enemies, the world can become so cruel. Japanese people have known that since ancient times, which is why we cultivated an empathy and an obligation to show courtesy to one's neighbors. No matter who I blame, Sadako won't smile. So the only thing I can do is watch over her and make sure that she's safe when she's at school.
ありがとうミオ。
えごめん、何？
貞子にいつも気を使ってくれてありがとうって。
Satoshi kind of appears absent-minded, but sometimes he says things as if he can read your thoughts. I try to deny it since it's out of character for me, but he smiled as if he could tell exactly what I was thinking.
貞子は笑顔の浮かべ方を忘れてしまっただけなんだよ。学校にいる時は本当に少しだけ肩の力を抜ける時間を得られてる。それはきっと貞子にとってとても優しい時間になってるって思ってるよ。
おじさんが気を使えるのはせいぜいこの程度だしね。
そんなことないよ。僕も感謝してるよ。
よしてよ。感謝されることなんかないって。迷惑かけてるのは多分うちなんだしさ。
そんなこと思ってないよ。全然。
I'm not good at reading people's subtle cues, but I know for sure what he just said is a lie. Satoshi knows that he and his family are being isolated because of the Sonozakis, and he's, of course, aware that I am a member of the Sonozaki family too. Satoshi is mature, and that's the only reason he doesn't take it out on me. If he had the same temper as his aunt, he would hate me bitterly. Knowing that, the least I can do is not get close to them. But I'm a meddlesome person. When I see Sadako looking depressed or Satoshi forcing himself to smile, I have to do something. That might be even more troublesome to Satoshi than in Sadako, though.
私、聡子の気持ちを全然理解してないのかな。
どうして？
聡子が辛い思いをしてる一番の原因はうちにある。そこの娘の私が聡子の周りをうろちょろすることはその空気の読めてないことなのかなって。
そんなことはないよ。ミオンはそれくらいがちょうどいいと思うけどな。
何よそれ。私は無神経な方がぴったりだって言うの？
そういう意味じゃないよ。その空気というのが聡子から笑顔を奪っているのなら、そんな空気なんか全然気にしない人じゃなきゃ聡子に笑顔は戻せないって思ってるから。
うまいこと言ってるけど、さりげなくおじさんのことバカにしてるでしょ。ひどいな。
バカにしてなんかいないよ。助けてほしいだけなんだよ。僕一人の力じゃ聡子に笑顔は戻せない。ミオンみたいな力強い人の助けがいるんだよ。
でも私園崎家のミオンだよ。私なんかが無神経なことやったらかえって聡子を傷つけるかも。
その空気が聡子を一人ぼっちにしているのに、だからミオンも聡子を一人ぼっちにするのかい？
This is the first time Satoshi has asked me for something so aggressively. Sadako is a very important person to him. He's saying he needs my help to make her smile again. But still, no. Maybe he's right. What's going on between the Sonozaki family and the Hojo family is an issue among the grown-ups. We children don't need to care about that. The irrational rules of the grown-ups don't mean anything in our world. So I have to object to the irrationality of the grown-up world using methods of my own.
さとこは本当に私のこと迷惑に思わないかな。
初めは少しは思うかもしれない。でも僕も一緒だから。ミオンと一緒だから。すぐに打ち解けるよ。
そうかな。今日学校が終わったらさとこを遊びに誘ってみる？
家に帰るとおばさんにいろいろ言われて表に出られなくなってしまうかもしれない。
なら簡単だね。家に帰らずに遊べばいいんだ。
でも帰りがあまりにも遅くなると何の道草を食っていたんだと。
ならさ、あれだ。部活動に加わったっていうのはどう？
部活？
うん。部活ってことにして学校で遊んでから帰ればいいじゃん。だって学校から帰らないでそのまま遊んでる男の子だって大勢いるんだしね。全然問題ないよ。
あ、でも服を汚すとまたおばさんに。
ならさ、アウトドアじゃなくてインドア中心にすればいいわけよ。それなら服も汚れないしね。
インドアってことは教室？でもあんまり暴れると千恵先生に。
インドアで暴れずに、だけれども熱く遊ぶことは可能なんだよ。おじさん、こう見えてもゲームが大好きでね。海外ものの貴重なものとか結構集めてたりするのさ。マニュアルが英語だったり難しかったりで対戦してくれる相手がいなくて死蔵しちゃってるのが多いんだけどね。
それサトコにも遊べるかな？
もちろんルールなんてね、わかんなかったらその場で作っちゃえばいいんだよ。全員が同じルールに従う以上、どんなルールだったって公平なんだからね。
I said it so confidently, but would bringing games from home and asking Sadako to play with us actually make her smile again? What if I got to lose? Maybe I'll bring one of the board games tomorrow.
あとさ、ミオン、相談があるんだけど。
何？おじさんで乗れる相談なら何でも聞いてよ。
僕、アルバイトを探してるんだ。サトコを元気づけるのに、誕生日に素敵なプレゼントをしたら喜ぶかなって思って。
Oh, fuck. Part-time job. Okay, besides that... Shit, I almost cried during that because the reason why the club was even made in the first place was to cheer up Sadako. God, I don't know. That's such a like that's such a tiny detail. It's so insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but oh, my heart. My fucking heart. Oh, my fucking heart. That's what it is. That's my heart. Just whip it into pieces, game. Just fucking just tear it up. Okay, notice of leave of absence. Here we go.
そ
そうですか。いえいえ、届けなんていりません。サトシ君は我がひなみ沢ファイターズの頼もしい選手なんですからね。席はちゃんと開けてあります。いつでも戻ってきていいんですからね。
わかりません。当分は戻ってこれないと思うので、一度退部にしてもらった方がいいと思いまして。
Satoshi-kun says he wants to quit the Mizawa fighters. I know very well Satoshi-kun and Sadako-chan's situation, so I was expecting that he might say this. The relationship between Sadako-chan and her aunt has gotten worse to the point that it can be considered abuse. When someone from the Child Consolation Center came, of course her aunt behaved herself. Then immediately after, her harassment turned even more vicious. According to the neighbors, the aunt's scolding and Sadako-chan's crying can be heard nightly. Sometimes it goes on past midnight. Sadako-chan's weekly physical checkup results are slowly growing worse, and we're trying to keep her stable by increasing her medication. But unless her relationship with her aunt improves, she's sure to go terminal and sink into madness. Although she isn't the type to become deranged, even at the terminal stage. She's the type who holds everything in, harboring her insanity inside. Just like she pushed her parents off the cliff 2 years ago, Sadako-chan may kill her aunt. Thanks to the mountain dogs, the incident was resolved as an accident, and Oshi stepped aside, although he is still suspicious. If something like that happens again around Sadako-chan, he's sure to investigate her merciless way. They can't do anything more about Sadako-chan's environment changing for worse. So I'm not surprised to hear that Satoshi-kun wants to quit the baseball team so he can be with his sister more.
実は僕、アルバイトを始めるんです。それで、あまり野球に出られなくて。
アルバイトですか。何か買いたいものでもあるんですか。
はい。もうすぐ貞子の誕生日なんです。貞子が欲しがっているぬいぐるみがあるので、それをプレゼントしてやりたいと思いまして。
A teddy bear. A teddy bear. That's right. I remember the birth date on her insurance card. I think it's June 24th. Right after the Higurashi Festival.
そうですか。サトシ君は本当に妹思いのお兄さんですね。それはきっとサトコちゃんも喜んでくれるでしょう。
喜んでくれると嬉しいです。
I can tell Satoshi-gun is also stressed out. To him, seeing Sadako-chan being harassed is the same thing as being harassed himself. His stress can be released through moderate exercise, such as with sports, and also with plenty of rest. If Sadako-chan is being yelled at nightly, then it's easy to figure out that Satoshi-kun isn't getting enough sleep either. I don't know what kind of job he's starting, but I don't think he will be able to vent his stress on it. In fact, I don't like the idea of Satoshi-kun taking a part-time job because he's already so worn out in every way. I asked him if he wanted me to help him pay for the present, but of course he declined the offer. It's a present from him, so he wants to earn the money himself. He's taken this part-time job only to earn enough money to buy Sadako-chan's present, so it'll be a temporary thing. If it's for a short period of time, maybe it won't be so bad. Well, I want to stop him from working because I don't want him to get even more stressed. Since he says Sadako-chan's birthday is near, I don't think I can stop him. Sadako-kun is determined. I mean, Satoshi. If I say any more, I may lose his trust. So I'll have to accept his leave of absence.
そうだ、監督。バットを一本借りていってもいいですか?
Oh shit. I completely misunderstood his words. Later I found out he carried around that bat to protect himself. And realized that, even then, he was already showing some dangerous symptoms. He believed that there would be a fourth mysterious death this year, and that he would be the victim. he became obsessed with the idea that someone was after his wife. That is a symptom of Hinazawa syndrome's terminal stage. But although I was involved so deeply with the syndrome, I was careless.
バットですか？はて、何に使うんですか？
Satoshi-kun had his own bat, so he should have asked if he could take it home, but instead he asked if he could borrow it. When I think about it now, he said it that way to whiten his guilty conscience, but how could I have known then?
いえ、野球にはそんなに来れなくなりますけど、でもきっと一人で素振りの練習をするくらいの時間は取れると思うので。
それはいいですね。そういうことならぜひ持って行ってください。素振りをするときは十分周りを確認して危険がないよう注意してからやってくださいね。ご近所迷惑でなければタイヤを吊るしてそれを打つのもいい練習になるでしょう。
Swinging a bat can release stress, so letting him take his bat home will help. That's what I thought, but that was a huge mistake. I realized it only when things were already past the point of no return. God, Satoshi really is like Ketchy from the first chapter. He's thinking he will be the victim of the fourth year, and so he murders his aunt. Just like how Ketchy murdered both Rena and Mion in the first chapter. Wow. Wow. Okay. I'm bad to beat her to death. Well, let's just go over to that thing. It's the last one on this page, too. Death of Satoshi's aunt. We were prepared to respond quickly this year. That was why we were able to start the investigation immediately by securing the crime scene. The victim is the wife of the younger brother of the Hojo couple, so she's an extremely suitable target for the fourth year's curse of Oshiro-sama. She has a horrible reputation among the locals. After the incident, everyone said she deserved to be cursed. I have a general idea who the culprit must be. It's probably Satoshi Hojo, that innocent-looking kid. There's even a motive. The deceased abused his sister relentlessly, so this would be in revenge for that. Also, when he attended the inspection of the crime scene, he was rather frantic, yet also far too composed, as if he was totally unrelated to the incident. My intuition from many years of police work tells me that 8 or 9 times out of 10, someone who acts like that is the perp. I have no concrete proof, but if I question him and shake him up a bit, I have a feeling he'll confess.
これだけ仏をめった打ちにしていれば、星も返り血を少なからず浴びたものと思います。そいつが見つけられれば決め手になりそうですね。
まあよっぽどの間抜けでなけりゃ処分してるでしょうがね。犯行を認めた後に捨てたと称する場所から発見できれば検察も納得してくれるでしょう。
This was pretty insignificant as a standalone case. A confession from Satoshi Hojo would end it. Everyone except me must believe that. But if I look at it as a part of a series of mysterious deaths, it won't be easy. Either the 3 families of the village, or the Sonozaki family alone is directly involved in this. If they are the ones pulling the strings, they must have instigated Satoshi Hojo into committing this crime. If so, Satoshi Hojo is someone who knows way too much about them. The Sonozaki family's actions must remain hidden. If he could connect them to the crime, would they let him run around freely? Satoshi Hojo is a loving brother who cares very much for his sister, and they set him up to kill his aunt as the 4th year's curse. After that, they will eliminate the one person who can connect them to the crime. Satoshi Hojo is not just a simple criminal. He was set up. And after that, my suspicions were confirmed, for he abruptly vanished. He disappeared in such a puzzling way. The fucking mound dogs took him to dissect him, didn't they? Son of a bitch. He didn't run because he was afraid that his crime had come to light. Another culprit came into the picture. He was already arrested for a different crime, and furthermore, he died while in prison. He confessed to information only the culprit himself would have known. Therefore, he must be the culprit. But as he's already dead, the investigation was closed. Then Satoshi Hojo disappeared a few days after the festival. It's obvious someone doesn't want Satoshi Hojo to be connected to this incident. My boss put pressure on me to close the investigation and to file Satoshi Hojo's disappearance as a separate incident. He even handed the case over to a different section. The way this case is closing so rapidly greatly resembles the same trick used 2 years ago with the Hojo couple's accident. There's no doubt it's the work of someone who can put pressure on the police. As it happens, the Sonozaki family is the only one who can actually exact influence on the police department here in the Himizawa area. They may think their trails are covered, but this points towards them more clearly than anything. According to my informant, Oryu Sonozaki mentioned the 4 years curse of the family meaning and hinted that she was the one behind it all. Hinting isn't strong enough evidence, but there's no mistaking that Oryu Sonozaki is the one pulling the strings. I know they're the ones who did end the old man, but I just can't grab them. The principal offender is still on the loose, but I'm sure he's being sheltered somewhere by the Sonozaki family. I have to locate him and find that missing right arm. I'll return the arm to his grave and make the principal offender and the masterminds both bow down before it. However, just like how Satoshi Hojo disappeared, it's possible the principal offender has already been eliminated. I bet he's already been killed and buried somewhere nobody can find. If that's the case, then that's fine. I'll make the old bag who ordered someone to kill the old man slam her forehead on the ground before his grave. This I swear. After the 4 years curse, people are already saying something will happen again next year. Even with all my preparations, I couldn't prevent the incident from happening this time. It's too late if something happens. I must keep my eyes on the core of the village before something takes place. There's a reason why I have to get to the bottom of this by next year. Because I'm retiring. My mother has been wanting to go back to her hometown in Hokkaido, and for a long time she's been asking me to move there when I retire. I feel that that's the least I can do for her, so I agreed to move to Hokkaido when I retire. So next year is my last chance to avenge the old man's death. It happened 4 years in a row, so more than likely there will be a 5th curse too. As a result of the series of mysterious deaths, the village has been tightly knit together since the damn protests. They were told that betrayers will be punished in the name of the curse. To the masterminds, that's enough reason to continue with the series of mysterious deaths. According to rumors, this year's victim, the aunt, was cursed because she didn't participate in the Wanakagashi festival. So there are villagers who believe that if they don't participate in next year's Wanakagashi, they'll be cursed. It'll be a huge festival next year for sure. Something will happen. The series of mysterious deaths in Himizawa, also known as the Curse of Oshiro-sama. I will avenge the old man. I definitely will. Poor Oshi, man. Fucking... Just damn. Damn, man. That's all I can say. Let's do one more. The 4th sacrifice. The village was in an uproar, because the 4th mysterious death in a row, which everyone believed would happen, actually did. Sadako-chan's aunt was killed. All the villagers feel rather satisfied about this incident, saying the curse finally fell on her for being a local troublemaker. But I know the truth. When I saw the beaten up body at the crime scene, I knew Satoshi-kun was responsible for it. You're right, probably. Her abuse towards Sadako-chan was getting worse and worse. Satoshi-kun wanted to protect her, so he brought home a baseball bat. All the signs were there, so I didn't even need to hear it from Satoshi-kun. Yet I couldn't avoid questioning myself. I felt bad for the Hojo siblings, who had no one on their side, so I tried to be their ally. In the end, I failed to be any help to them. The phone rang. It was Satoshi-kun. He never called me before. What happened? Does he want me to help him? If so, I will. I truly feel that way.
監督ですか？お仕事中にすみませんでした。
いえいえ、気になさらないでください。どうかなさいましたか？
車を持っている人が他に思いつかなかったんで。
車ですか？ええ、ありますよ。
実は今沖宮のおもちゃ屋さんの前にいるんです。ミオンのおじさんのおもちゃ屋じゃなくて、もう一軒の歯医者さんの近くにあるおもちゃ屋さんの方です。
ああ、わかりますわかります。
それで聡子の誕生日プレゼントのぬいぐるみを変えたんですけど、大きくって自転車に積めないんです。
大きくって自転車に積めない？サトシ君、あなたどれだけ大きなぬいぐるみを買ったんですか
？I guess he didn't think about it and went to the toy store on his bicycle. Now he's stuck. That's so typical of him. I can't help but smile warmly. In other words, he can't carry both the bicycle and the teddy bear, so he wants me to come pick him up. I told him I'd be right over, and headed to the toy store in Okayama. When I got there, I found that the teddy bear he bought is a lot bigger than I imagined.
これは大きいですね。確かにこれじゃ自転車は無理でしょう。
The teddy bear is so big that Satoshi-kun can hardly wrap his arms around it. If he puts it on his lap on the passenger seat, he won't be able to see anything. We loaded the bicycle in the back seat and stuffed the teddy bear in the trunk.
しかし、これだけの大きなぬいぐるみともなると高かったでしょう。
ええ、まあそこそこね。
At first, I thought he was sweating because of the heat, but he's acting oddly, as if he has a high fever and his consciousness is coming and going.
どうしましたか？具合でも悪いんですか？
多分、いえ、風邪です。
それはよくありませんね。診療所に寄っていきませんか？具合を見てあげましょう。
ありがとうございます。
Oh no. When he called earlier, he didn't sound this way. Did he become ill all of a sudden?
どうぞ、リクライニングを倒して楽にしてください。冷房が強すぎませんか？大丈夫ですか？
His face is turning pale. I can tell he has a high fever. Satoshi-kun was pushing himself to buy this teddy bear. A teddy bear this size can't be that cheap. For him to earn enough money in such a short period of time, he must have worked hard and long hours. Maybe he felt relieved now that he got the teddy bear he wanted to buy. It's not unusual for a person to collapse after reaching this big goal.
しかし、よく頑張りましたね。こんなにも大きなぬいぐるみを。さとこちゃん、きっと喜ぶと思いますよ。
喜んで欲しいです。
喜びますよ。私が保証しちゃいます。
もうおばさんもいない。おじさんも帰ってこない。もうこれで貞子をいじめる人はいないんですよね。
そうですね。もうさとこちゃんをいじめる人はいません。だからこれからはゆっくりと過ごしていいんです。
おばさんはいないんですよね。死んだんですもんね。
はい、確かに死にました。検視には私も立ち会っています。間違いありませんよ。だからもう二度とさとこちゃんをいじめたりはしません。
本当におばさんが死んでるのを確認したんですね。
はい、間違いなく。
じゃあたまに通りすがるおばさんにそっくりな人がいても、それはおばさんじゃないんですよね。おばさんが実は生きてて退院してきたとか、そういうんじゃないんですよね。
ええ、そんなことはありえません。二度と私たちの前に現れることはありませんよ。
じゃああの人、あれもよく似てるけどおばさんじゃないんですよね。ですよね。
Damn syndrome. Satoshi-kun pointed at the oncoming car in fear. Of course the car passed by so quickly that I couldn't see her face. But no matter how much she looks like her, it's impossible for her to be alive.
ほら、あの人もあんなにそっくりでもおばさんじゃないんですか。だって僕を見ましたよ。
落ち着いてください、サトシ君。おばさんは完全に死にました。だからどんなに似ていてもそれはおばさんではありません。
似てる。いや、違う。本当におばさんなんだ。おばさんがまだあんなに殺したのに、あんなに殴ったのに、なんで
You can only try to stay calm and drive. Satoshi-kun is losing his cool. He's delusional. He's seen his aunt coming back from the dead. Then I finally realize Satoshi-kun is displaying systems of the terminal stage. I need to examine them once I get to the clinic. It's different from Sadako-chan's case. We already have the cure. We can treat Satoshi-kun. If I talk to the mountain dogs, they'll take care of the murder of his aunt. So I can both save him from going terminal and give him back his peaceful days with Sadako-chan. He was deranged until just a minute ago, but now he's gone quiet. He didn't fall asleep. I must get to the clinic while Satoshi-kun remains in this calm state. There's no guarantee that he won't attack me while I'm driving. As if he knows what is going through my mind, Satoshi-kun spoke to me quietly.
監督、これってやっぱりお社様のたたりなんでしょうか。
たたりなんかありません。どうか気を強く持ってください。
里子、ごめん。ぬいぐるみを買う直前まで僕はそのお金でどこか遠くに逃げてしまおうって思ってたんだ。 だからそんな僕をお社様は許さなかったんだ。僕は兄失格なんだ。僕は
無理に喋らなくていいですよ。まぶたを閉じて休んでいてください。すぐに診療所に着きますからね。そうしたら具合のすぐ良くなる薬をあげますからね。
僕の血の中にもウジ虫が湧いてるのかな。かゆい。
書かないで。
Oh no.
喉をかいてはいけません。
We arrived at the back door to the clinic. I slammed the brake, stopped the car. Satoshi-kun was already started clawing at his throat. I can't stop him by myself. I asked for some help through the intercom. Some staff members came out immediately. Maybe Satoshi-kun was surprised to see so many people at once because he started to resist. I don't even need to run tests. He's at L5. He's reached the terminal stage and his thoughts must be filled with delusions. Maybe he thinks that the staff members want to kill him. The staff members pinned his arms and legs down and gave him a shot to put him to sleep.
監督、助けて。
大丈夫ですよ。すぐに治療しますから、しばらくの間楽にしていてください。
どっか里子、お願い。
Please take care of Sadako. After saying those words, he fell unconscious.
あらあら、騒がしいと思ったらこれは何事ですの？
サトシ君が急性発症したようです。彼の日頃のストレスを考えればいつ発症してもおかしくなかったでしょう。いや、ぬいぐるみを買うまで自制心でそれをずっと抑え続けてきたに違いありません。
なんだか毎年綿流しになると生きた検体が手に入りますわね。これもお社様のたたりのおかげなのかしら。
I don't have time to listen to her nonsense. Jeez. And Satoshi never comes back. Kazire couldn't stop talking from dissecting him. God. Just... Fuck, man. Jeez. It's... God. That's all I can say is fuck, man. I don't think... Yeah, we really don't have... Yeah, we really don't have anything else left. But this has been, you know, a 2-hour video. So next time will be the final episode of this section. Hopefully, maybe, if the fragments don't take, you know, an hour and a half to go through. This has been a very long section. It's a very good section. It's a great section. I really enjoy it, but damn is it long. It is extremely long. So anyway, if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something, put it down in the comments below. Check out the Discord server I own in, or my Twitter. Check the description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!